Hi and welcome to GRVO TV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. This is my 2018 What's in My Camera Bag. Now, a few people have asked why I haven't been doing videos recently, and there's a couple of reasons for that, some personal, but a lot to do with what's going on with cameras. And I got into a position where I just couldn't afford to keep changing cameras, because high-end cameras that used to be about £1,000 started to become 2,000 and 2,500, 3,000, 4,000. And when you look at some of the new cameras and systems that are being reviewed at the moment, the Canon, the Nikon, mirrorless, some of the Sonys, they're like 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 pounds, plus then an investment in at least say 3 lenses. You're probably looking at another 2,000, 3,000 pounds. So you're talking sort of between £4,000 and £8,000 for a camera system. Well, I didn't think that the average sort of photographer or even enthusiast spent that kind of money on camera gear, and I certainly don't, and I certainly won't. So that's why I stopped doing it, because I've never made any money out of this. I just did it because I enjoyed doing it, but then I stopped enjoying it because of all the negativity and people getting so upset about cameras, and it's like, oh, that camera's better than that one, and that one's better than that one. And I always say in my videos, I'm under no illusion that you can get better cameras than the one I've chosen, but the one I've chosen is best for me. So I give my opinions on that, and I think it'd be a great camera for lots of people. But if you say that, someone will bitch and moan and say, yeah, but Sony's better image quality, and Sony's better low light, and Fuji has the Fuji colour profile. Well, I explored that and I bought a Fuji, and to be honest, when you're shooting RAW, it made no difference whatsoever. The colour profile is whatever you make it, and I couldn't really see any difference other than it was a clunky system. It didn't have the features I want. There was nothing wrong with the image quality, but I certainly missed photos because it was slow, and and I know they've gradually got better and better, but the Fuji X-T3, I mean, I was like, oh, Fuji X-T3, that is the system that I would go for, because it has dedicated APS-C lenses, so they're not mahoossive. And then I saw no in-body image stabilization. It's like, well, I don't want that. I don't want to go to a camera system and lose stuff that I really enjoy and like. So that's out of the window. Nikon and Canon, to be honest, it's a joke. I mean, I don't know what they're thinking in their research and development. They bring out a full frame system which is kind of touted towards professionals, but then doesn't carry some of the basic features that you need as a professional. And then it's like, would a real photo enthusiast go for those kind of cameras? And I'm thinking, well, no, you would go more towards the Sony or the Fuji. So all of that, there's nothing out there that I want, other than the only camera that piqued my interest is the Panasonic G9. Now, the Panasonic G series was the kind of lower level to the GH series. Now, when I bought my GH3, it was about £1,000. When I bought the GH4, it was just over £1,000. The G9 is I think it's about 1,500 quid, which is more than double the price of the G85, which is what I've got. And it's like, when they replace a model and they bring out the new flagship, to me the price should stay about the same. Yeah, a little bit higher, but not double the price. Because if you have to sell your second-hand camera and buy the new one, you're losing double the money again. So it's like, I don't know how people do it. I mean, do people do it? I don't know. I don't know any locally photo enthusiasts who have upgraded to the latest equipment, because it's sort of it's the kind of money I spend on a bloody car. So anyway, that's my rant over. Yeah, so the G9, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's got everything in it I want, but it's a bit bigger and bulkier, and yeah, it doesn't give me a lot more than the camera system that I've got. But yeah, I'm kind of interested. If a second-hand one came up at a much lower price, then that might be something I look at. But I'm going to wait to see what Panasonic apparently they're touted at doing a full frame system. I don't know how that's going to work, because there's all this, oh yeah, Samsung are making sensors, full frame sensors for Panasonic. Who are making the lenses? Where are the lenses coming from? I've not seen anything about full frame lenses for Panasonic, so I don't know. And I don't want full frame. Everyone that wants, oh, I want full frame, I've got to have full frame. Why? You end up with such shallow depth of field, you'll miss loads of photos because your focus will be off. I've been there and done it. This is talking from experience. Since moving to Micro Four Thirds, my hit rate has gone from, you know, from here to here, basically, on photos in focus. I can't. I have no problems or issues with it. Whereas before I used to go delete, 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 keep, delete, delete. It's now the other way around, and I love that, and I get everything I need from my system. So what is my system? Well, at the moment, if you probably already know, and I have bought a new camera, by the way, and I'll show you that in a minute. I have bought a new camera, and I'll tell you what that is. But currently I have the Panasonic G85, and it has the 12 to 35 f2.8 lens, a great combination, brilliant for videoing. You've got the wide angle 12mm, it's not a great zoom to 35, so it's an equivalent kind of 24 to 70, I suppose, and that works really well as a package. I've got everything I need on the camera. I've got the flippy screen, which is a must for me. I've got in-body image stabilization, which combines with the lens stabilization, and it kind of gives you almost gimbal-like quality. People bitch and moan about the autofocus on these, but in photos it's astounding. It's instant. I never have a problem with it. The tracking is okay. It's not the best, but it's absolutely perfectly fine, and to be honest, it's better than anything else I've had. It's got lots of different modes and things, and movie modes. I'm limited to 4K 30 or 24 frames a second. There's no 4K 60 in it, but I use 1080 60 for mostly all my videos anyway, so at the moment it's not an issue for me. Only got one card slot. I would have liked two, but it's not the end of the world. I very rarely do any paid work anymore, and if I do, it's generally stuff that you could retake if you had a problem. I'm not doing weddings or anything like that, so nothing that would spoil, and that works really well. And again, what I want to emphasize when you're looking at going full frame is don't look at the camera bodies. Sorry about the wind. Look at the lenses, because you don't want to carry around, well, I don't want to carry around honking great lenses. If you do, that's fine, that's up to you, I don't care, whatever. So then lens wise, we've got the 45 to 150. Now I've tried the big Olympus 2.8 Pro zoom lens. I've tried the 45 to 200, the 100 to 400, the I think it's the 45 to 175, all of those zoom lenses in the Panasonic range. And what I've settled on is a combination of amazing value for money, excellent performance and picture quality, and a great range. So this is equivalent to like a 90 to 300mm. It weighs nothing. You can hold it like, I mean, look at the size of it. It's tiny. The picture performance is absolutely fine. I have no issues with it whatsoever. Really like it. You get a nice contrasty image out of it. So that's the package so far. And then my little baby, which is the 45 1.8, great portrait lens. Gives you lovely bokeh, as does that actually. When you're zoomed in, you get lovely bokeh with that. And this little one. So great for portraits, headshots, close-ups, anything like that. Great little lens. Obviously it's not stabilized. Put it on there, you've got the in-body image stabilization. It's fantastic. Great for a bit of video work as well, that one. And that's it. I mean, look, just in one hand, there's no pressure. I mean, it's lightweight. It's a joy to carry around. And when I go out, I've always got my entire system with me. I don't ever leave anything behind. So I bought a new camera recently for my partner. She used to have a Panasonic G7, so we sold that and purchased a new camera. And this is what we got. Is it the Canon R? Oh, by the way, Nikon, the Nikon Z. No one's mentioned the Z is just the Nikon N on its side. Why isn't anyone like, oh, that's genius. You ready for this? Is it the Sony A7 III? See, now that's not a bad looking camera to me. It's a good price, but again, it's got features missing that I would want, and it's the big lenses you have to put on it. Fuji, when you're talking about Fuji, that's the system I like the most, and that's the one that I would gravitate towards. But there's two issues with that. There's no body image stabilisation. They don't do the flippy out screens that fully articulate round. They might have changed that now, I don't know. Can't really remember. But they definitely haven't got the in-body image stabilisation, and they haven't got much in the way of like a decent lightweight zoom. And I think the one that they do have is cheap and nasty. It doesn't work very well, but there's not much choice in the long zooms. They've got some lovely primes, and I am drawn to like the 56, the 35s, and all those lovely primes. But for convenience, I like my 3-lens setup: 2 zooms, 1 prime. And Fuji haven't quite got that yet, but you know, I'm gonna have to wait till the X-T4, I suppose, before I get all the things I want, or the X-H1, I suppose. But then you're getting big and bulky. I don't know. So anyway, the new camera is dun 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 a Panasonic G85, exactly the same as mine, because when I looked at it, the price was astonishing. I got the brand new 12 to 35 f2.8 lens with it, not that the 12 to 60 was tempting because of the extra range, but ultimately that sort of 2.8 all the way through, it's a great little lens. We can swap lenses, so if we need to, we can swap lenses. I did some testing with the lens, and I couldn't really see much difference between that and the old one. The image stabilisation seems different. I wouldn't say necessarily better. It seems better on this camera than mine, funny enough, and I don't really understand why, because I've done like firmware updates and stuff. But this is obviously the latest camera. It's the same model, but with this lens on this camera, the image stabilisation is unbelievable. On mine, it kind of had a few what I think it's described as like micro jitters, which I couldn't see on this. So this setup is it's fantastic, works beautifully, it's lightweight, and again you've got the lovely touchscreen, the interface, the menus, you know, everything about it is just perfect for us, really, and that's why I've stuck with it. You know, the proof of pudding is where you put your money at the end of the day, and that's where we put our money. But as I do keep a close eye on the Fuji system. That's the only one that piques my interest. See, if I was working at Nikon or Canon for that matter, I would have looked at what's about. I thought, what's popular? You know, Fuji's are popular. If they brought out a Nikon with a DF style body, so a bit retro with some dials on it, APS-C, and they brought out a range of APS-C only mirrorless lenses, I think they would have had a winner. I mean, it's not difficult. Put in 2 card slots, put in a fully articulating screen, put in image stabilisation in the body, make the lenses as small as possible and light as possible, but you know, come out with a decent range of lenses. So you want a wide angle, a short zoom, a telephoto zoom, and a couple of primes, and that's it really. That I don't see what's so difficult about that. The smaller sensors are easier to manage, and just one other thing that I want to talk about with these cameras as well. Now, come to think of it, all these cameras are now 30, 40, 50 megapixels, whatever. 16. I'm using 16 megapixels. Now, some may say, well, you haven't got much resolution. You've got plenty of resolution. You can crop in little bits if you need to straighten up a picture, or you know, crop in a bit. It's no problem. Works absolutely fine. Not for everybody, I know, but it works absolutely fine. 16 megapixels is loads. 40, 50 megapixels, you need bigger cards, you need faster cards, you need more memory on your computer, you need faster computers. When you're dealing with the photos and moving them around, it's a nightmare. You come to send a photo by email, I've got to downsize it, I've got to change the resolution or whatever. With these cameras now, I've got the camera set up at JPEG exactly how I want them. You can change all the saturation, so you can edit your photo before you take it. I've got mine set up exactly as I want. I put them straight to the iPad. I do a little bit of editing in Snapseed if I need to, and bosh, I'm there. I can send it. It's brilliant. It's a seamless system. It's fantastic. And you know, you start chucking 40 megapixel pictures into an iPad, for instance, and all of a sudden you've got no memory, and you need a separate memory or cloud memory, and it just becomes a nightmare. And I just think 16 megapixels is plenty. That's again why I like the Fuji. They've stayed around that sort of 20, 24 sort of megapixel size, which is fine. But when you get 30, 40, 50 megapixels, it's not for me. It really isn't. So anyway, that's an update on me, and I might do a few more videos, I might not, but to be honest, I'm not buying any more gear because I'm so happy with what I've got. I'm not sort of still searching for that camera. I've kind of found it. The only update I will do is if I do swap one of these for a G9, then I'll do a video about that. But anyway, this is GRVO TV on a very windy day and in the UK, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.